We are going to play Street Fighter Alpha 3. I'm not about to lose to no goddamn bunker. Alright. Yo, I'm not about to lose to Blanca, am I? Nah. Chill, you wildin'. Chill. Raging Demon Tom. Stop playing with me. Alright. That thing right there that I just put down has been the object of my desire for the last going on 2 years. Well, not this one exactly. That one right there. And this one too. Yeah. Analogue, company that has made a bunch of vintage products and is focused on video game preservation. In 2021, in December of 2021, they released the Analogue Pocket. Originally coming out in black and white, they have since released a bunch of limited edition versions. And I actually I got my hands on a couple of them, so let's unbox a few. So while we do this unboxing, let me just take a minute for those who don't know to explain what the Analogue Pocket is, what it can do, and why it's been my favorite thing that I've purchased in my entire life. And my friends think I'm being facetious whenever I say that, but no, this is really like my favorite thing that I've spent my adult money on. It's perhaps the one thing that I never leave the house without. I definitely need my Analogue Pocket and of course my Fujifilm X100V, but the AP is always coming with me. So what is the Analogue Pocket exactly? As you can see, it's in the form factor of a Game Boy, like an OG Game Boy. And if you already noticed, it can take cartridges just like it as well, but it does a whole bunch more. But focusing on the cartridge aspect real quick, of course it can take Game Boy cartridges, but it can also take Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance, in addition to other platforms, other handheld platforms specifically, such as the Game Gear via an adapter. I have the adapter somewhere. I don't know where it is at the moment. The Atari Lynx and the Neo Geo Pocket. In addition to playing video games, you can also do some music creation stuff with it via Nanoloop. It's not necessarily a selling point for me, but it's there for you if you definitely need it. One of the reasons why I really love this product is because of the fact that it requires for you to rely on physical media. And as the years go by, we stray further and further away from physical media. And I was somebody who, as late as 2017, was still buying physical CDs, like physical albums. Like, I feel like there's something that you get with physical media, whether it's video games, music, DVDs, and so on and so forth. There's something that you get that you don't necessarily get if you stream it or if you get it digitally. Chief among them being, like a physical booklet, a poster. There's also, and some people may not admit this, but there's also the prestige that you actually own this thing. Having it physically as opposed to looking at it in a digital library kind of reaffirms that. And that's definitely an ego thing. That's something that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's a positive for me. So in addition to playing those aforementioned physical cartridges, you can also sideload a bunch of what they call cores. I get what I would refer to as emulators, but you can sideload these cores. You can play a bunch of different games from a bunch of different platforms throughout retro gaming history. So if I'm looking at the list right here, the list that I have, I don't even think I have everything that's available, and I have over 100 different cores. I was playing the arcade version of Street Fighter Alpha 3 at the beginning of this video via the CPS2 core. But there are a bunch of different cores that you have, so you can, of course, get the emulation cores for Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. And it's great because if you've seen the aftermarket for, like, for example, Game Boy Advance games, some of them go up as high as $110 to $150 to even $200. And depending on the title that you're looking at, it could be even more. And that's not even if you're buying it brand new. I'm talking about just the little small, like one of these, like the small cartridge only. Can be the upwards of $200. Thankfully, I don't have to do that because I can just load up one of these cores and then I'll be off to the races. I'll be playing whatever game that I want. And in my humble opinion, in my experience, there hasn't been anything lost in terms of quality. Playing with the actual cartridge as opposed to playing with the emulation cores is that Analogue, they have, with this beautiful screen, they have included what are called display modes. So they've made their own display mode, which is basically like an upscale version of whatever game that you're playing. So it's like a higher resolution. As a matter of fact, the screen is about 10 times the resolution as the Game Boy Color. In addition to that, you also have like the scan lines, so like the old display mode. So for example, like the GBA display mode or the Game Boy Color display mode, and actually tries its best to replicate what those original systems look like, the screens on those systems, but on this like beautiful 3.5-inch display. And of course, the display has been perhaps my favorite thing about the product. But since I got the dock a couple months ago, honestly, I've just been primarily playing on the dock. In addition to Game Boy, like the Game Boy lineup, you also have Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, PC Engine, Neo Geo. There's just a bunch of different cores for you to explore. And one thing that I'm super grateful for is the community, the Analogue community, just the community of players, developers. There's so many different resources for you if you just picked up a Pocket, or if you're thinking about getting it and you're able to get your hands on it. There's so many different resources on how to properly set it up so you would be able to maximize your gaming experience and get the most enjoyable experience out of this. That isn't to say that Analogue hasn't had its fair share of issues. For me, the hardware is a 10 out of 10. The only thing that I can nitpick if I really wanted to identify an issue with it is whenever I'm in the emulation cores rather, I can't adjust the display brightness. I would have to actually go back to the main screen of the operating system and then do it there, as opposed to just doing it while I'm playing in the game. That's nearly not as big a complaint as some other people are making. And while those complaints that they're making are legitimate, or they feel that they're legitimate, I don't know. It just has me questioning a couple things. To focus on the issues that the company's had, issues with shipping, specifically the shipping price. And honestly, there's no defense for this. I was able to actually purchase this when the first batch was starting to ship out. I was one of the lucky few who was able to get a successful order in. And I had to pay $26 in shipping just to get it to New York, which is not the worst thing in the world. However, if you had multiple orders, if you put in multiple orders, like me at the time, because I just wanted to put my order in for the Analogue Pocket, and then once I secured that, that's when I wanted to add some accessories, a screen protector, maybe the dock or whatever it was. But once I placed the separate order for that, I had to pay another $20 for shipping. And one of the orders was just a singular screen protector. The screen protector, if I'm not mistaken, is about like $15. And I had to pay $20 on top of that. Now, usually, based on my experience, like shopping at other retailers, it's usually based on the number of products that you buy, the price of those products, or the size of the items. So I would understand if it was the same size or same weight, but we're talking about a small, tiny, a very, very small box that had one singular screen protector. and I still had to pay $20 shipping for it. And that's not even to mention what other people's experience has been with the shipping costs, specifically international customers. I watched a video earlier this week, and a guy who lives in Canada, he said that he had to pay $60 to ship it to Canada, which is our neighboring country. It's right there. And to me, I mean, listen, I'm not familiar with the logistics of shipping and how much it costs and this and that about such and such. I just think that that's nuts, but it is what it is. Another issue that people have been facing is scalpers. So, of course, this happens in many an industry. You see this it's most prevalent in like sneakers and like streetwear. Whenever there's like a new pair of Jordans or a new pair of I don't know if they do this for Jordans anymore, but like Yeezys or whatever the case may be, there would be people who buy them with the sole intent of just reselling them, and they've made entire businesses off of this. The issue that a lot of would-be customers of the Analogue Pocket have is that since the product has been in such a limited quantity since its release, you had supply chain issues from the pandemic that delayed even the release of it. It was actually supposed to come out in, if I'm not mistaken, it was May or June of 2021, and supply chain issues caused it to be delayed all the way back to December. And I don't know if those same issues are plaguing the company, but it's clear that the supply is by no means reaching the demand. What happens is these people who buy them for resale purposes, when the Analogue Pocket first came out, it retails for $200. Well, now it retails for $219 and $249 for one of these limited edition ones. People were selling them in December of 2021. People were reselling them for as much as $1,000. I remember seeing a listing actually for $1,100, and it was like a bid. I don't even know where it ended up at, but that's how highly sought after the Analogue Pocket was. Now the price has stabilized. However, it's hovering at $100 to $150 above MSRP. So I'm seeing it on eBay for like $320, $350. Some of them are going for $400. It's the same thing with the limited edition ones. And there were a bunch of limited edition ones. There's the glow in the dark, which is right here. And there's also the transparent run. There's a bunch of different colors. If I'm not mistaken, it's 7 colors. I could be wrong, but I think it's 7. So you have the clear, which is here, the red, the purple. You also have the green, the blue, the orange, and the smoke. So 7 colors. And they're all reselling on eBay at the very least for about around $350 to $400, at least at the time of me making this video. The last issue I already spoke about a little bit is just the limited quantity. Limited quantities has just been something that's been a problem since the initial release. So they did a bunch of delivery windows outside of the initial release in December of 2021. And they actually reopened orders once the first batch was delivered. So the original delivery windows were, so Group A was in Q1 of 2022, Group B was in Q4 of 2022, and Group C was just 2023. We'll get to you whenever we get to you. And the orders were open. Once the orders were open, within a couple of minutes, Groups A and B were already, the fulfillment for Groups A and B were already reached, and any subsequent order would just fall into Group C, which was 2023. So like I said, we'll get to you when we get to you. And a lot of people had problems with this, understandably so, just because of the fact that the way that the products came out was at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 8 Pacific Time. The orders would go live on the website, and you had to rush to get your order in. And the initial drop, it sold out almost immediately. with the group A, B, and C fulfillment protocol. So if I'm gonna shoot them a little bit of bail, and obviously like the channel is small, so I can't be sponsored or affiliated with Analogue, so obviously nobody's paying me or anything like that. But if I were to shoot them a little bit of bail, like I said before, like the company historically has been providing very niche products. So it's for a particular customer that still has physical media, physical cartridges from their game consoles from decades ago, or is planning on amassing a collection of said game consoles and the cartridges, the compatible cartridges. I don't know whether or not they were prepared initially for the success and the popularity of a Pocket. Of course, savvy and smart business practices dictate for you to adjust and figure out how to navigate new orders, especially considering the fact that there is an exceedingly high demand for your product and people want to give you the money for the product. I would love to know the logistics, me along with everybody else would love to know like the logistics behind that operation and why at this point, 2 years removed, we're still seeing these limited quantity releases. And I'm not talking about the limited edition ones. There's a difference between limited quantity and limited edition. If I'm not mistaken, they actually had to put out like, as part of one of their press releases, they actually had to put out like definitions distinguishing the two, saying like, yeah, the Analogue Pocket is not limited. It's not a limited edition product. It's limited in quantity because we can only produce but so much. Whereas the limited edition ones, obviously the glow in the dark one and the transparent one, those are going to be a different scenario. If they're saying from the jump that it's a special edition and only but so many of these are going to be produced, then you have no choice but to respect that, in my opinion. Yeah, I get it. Some people are going to want certain colors, and there's going to be, of course, scalpers that are gonna prevent them from getting their desired color. And this is going to sound very harsh, especially considering the fact that I have a couple of these sitting on my table. But the game is the game. If you're aware of the product, like for the most part, we all had the same awareness. If you're not new to the Analogue Pocket and you're watching this video, we all had the same level of awareness, and we were all at the computers at the same time. While it is unfortunate that people weren't able to secure their own version at MSRP, almost like you, it's almost like you got to be quicker than that. And I know how harsh that sounds, especially like I said, I got a few of these things. I always see a lot of discourse online, people bashing others who have multiple Analogue Pockets, like I do. Like, and be clear, maybe I should put a disclaimer in the front of the video, but not all of these are mine. Like, especially like the thumbnail for this video, like I had to borrow a couple of them just to get that many. All those games are mine, and like I had to borrow a bunch. So I don't want to make it seem like I have all of these. But as somebody who is attempting to create a collection of this, I wouldn't mind getting all of these. And furthermore, even though the community at large hates scalpers, I might have to turn to eBay just to complete the collection. And I feel like the people who are collecting, the people who are doing like these experiments, and what I mean by experiments is some people are keeping like, let's say they're keeping this purple shell and they're swapping it with like the black buttons. Like some people are doing that. Others like me, I might just keep mine as far as like in its normal, like the condition that it came in. I don't know. I'm very, like, I like to preserve these products as they were delivered. It's definitely a collector's right just as much as everyone else to amass a collection of different Analogue Pockets. I'm not saying to hoard them. Like if I had 7 different copies of the black one or the white one, then that's a problem. But all of these are different colors. So that person who's looking to create a collection, and I'm pretty sure, like for those listening out there, you have a collection of like old Game Boy Advances or old Nintendo DSs or even sneakers or Pokemon card. There's just something that you're collecting, and by you owning it and by you owning several, you're depriving somebody else who doesn't have it and who's also interested. You're depriving them of the opportunity of owning it. But that doesn't necessarily make sense because, once again, it's your right to collect. It's your right to build this collection of things because it has a history, because it has a special meaning that like to you as it pertains to that respective item's culture or subculture. And that's pretty much it. Again, I know that some of what I said may come across as harsh, and I'm open to constructive debate. I'm not open to, nah, screw you. You have 1 million. Like I don't want to hear that shit. Like, but I am open to hearing other perspectives. And this perspective of the collector, at the very least, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen people chiming in. I feel like everybody who owns more than one just posts their multiple units online for others to see, and they just keep going about their business. I actually just wanted to provide some context as to why some people may be doing it. For the scalpers, I definitely don't support you. Like, I hate that shit. I respect it. You know what I mean? Make your money how you make your money, but with a product as limited as this, I do feel for those people who haven't been able to get it or who had to wait over a year, almost 2 years, just to get their own unit. The last thing that I'll do, since we're in the spirit of unboxing, and I'm pretty sure it's not clear at this moment, so I will make it clear. The Game Boy Advance is probably my most favorite handheld device, game console of all time. Close second would probably be the PSP. And I feel like that's like a 1A, 1B kind of situation. Like it's like super close. I feel like this unboxing video wouldn't be complete without actually unboxing a Game Boy Advance game. I don't know how, I hope I can get this in the shot. Again, I'll get like I think this is good. I'll get like a close-up, but this is Yggdra Union, We'll Never Fight Alone. I heard about this game a couple of years ago. It also got a port to the PSP. I was able to get my hands on a sealed copy. It's a sealed international copy, hence the 7+ Peggy.info, like branding here or warning or label rather, as opposed to like the rated E for everyone that we would see in the States. The reason why I got this one specifically, in addition to the fact that it was the only one that I can find, but it was the cheapest one, or it was a cheaper one compared to historical listings, which showed the American version in like the hundreds. Come on. I'm not paying over $100. Yeah, no, I'm not paying. I might pay over $100 for a Game Boy Advance game. I don't know. Not right now though. So I was keeping this boxed, and as I thought to make this video, I just wondered why. Obviously, there's a value in keeping things boxed. Like if you look at the resellers market, there's a whole bunch of different items across different industries that if you have the closed in box one, it can be going for hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands even. But as somebody who genuinely enjoys the platform, genuinely enjoys the system and the new hardware that is coming out, new hardware in the Analogue Pocket, I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice by just leaving this to collect dust on my shelf. So I'm gonna unbox this. So as I unbox this Game Boy Advance game, and depending on where this audio plays, it may be later in the video. one thing that I learned about unboxing after doing all of these unboxings is I'm super clumsy. So imagine trying to do something, and imagine trying to do something and recording yourself trying to do that same thing. Like, I didn't realize how much of an art unboxing things is for YouTube videos. So if you're a professional unboxer, like if that's your shit, then shout out to you, because this shit is difficult and I'm probably never doing this again. Right? It's I don't have the most ideal setup. I actually don't know what the most ideal setup is for unboxing things. I think I did alright. I ain't gonna hold you, but yeah, y'all let me know how I did. So let's unbox this. Let's unbox Yggdra Union. Damn, I low key don't even want to do this. All that shit I was talking about. Yeah, I like the. I want to get the full experience of unboxing, blah blah blah, all that shit. It's just, I struggle to do this. I'm like, damn, it's a perfectly sealed copy, but it's too late. And I don't have like a special knife or like a pocket blade like most of you unboxers out there. I don't know. I feel like that's strange. Like I just have a big ass knife that I use just for unboxing shit. Nah, I think I used a screwdriver to unbox the Analogue Pockets. Damn. There's a bit of sadness. Oh, hold on. ASMR moment. All right, that was horrible. There's a there's a bit of sadness that washes over me as I did this, because now we have one less sealed copy of Yggdra Union in the world. Oh well, the moment has passed. And don't worry, I'm gonna fast forward all of the boring parts. See, like, this is something that you don't even get with like a Nintendo Switch game, or most Nintendo Switch games, or PlayStation 5 games, or Xbox games, because nowadays the game comes just with like the physical case for the game. It comes just with the CD, and that's it. So there's no booklet. Some of them, especially if you get like the collector's edition, that's when you get the poster, and that's when you get like the physical media, the stickers and the keychain and the toy and all this stuff. But for the most part, at least for me, what I do with my PS5, I just download all my games. And it's such an unceremonious action. It's just like, it's like I just forked over $65.40 whatever cents, and what do I have? I have this game that, because my interest levels aren't necessarily on the PS5 now, a game that I play for 2 hours and I never pick back up again, and I have no incentive to actually interact with it. But living in my time, you get, these little manuals that you toss to the side and never read. And you get the actual cartridge and it's a little plastic. Now I remember this. I used to be a savage in 2001, 2002, 2003. I just tear all this shit open. The boxes are gone. The booklets are nowhere to be found. All you have left is the game. And I basically taken everything out. This is the insert. The game came in. This is the booklet. This is actually like it's thick and it's weighted. Like, hold on, like another ASMR moment. All right, let me try that again. One thing that I will say about these, it's thick because it has mad languages. Got it. See, the American games the American versions of most games, I don't remember them having the English version. And then now we're on to what is this? The Italian version. This is definitely Italian. And then why is this in Italian? Oh yeah, nope. English and Italian, even on the back of the box. See, back of the box, English and Italian. But yeah, the one thing that you absolutely, or you don't necessarily need the booklet for when it comes to Game Boy Advance games, but it's super helpful, is the fact that there's not as many tutorial bits and pieces given in game when we're talking about the Game Boy Advance game, because they can only fit so much on a cartridge. So there's a lot of stuff that I have to learn or have to figure out in real time, as opposed to referring to the manual and saying, "Oh, this item is or it gives you 15% health back," or whatever the case may be. You just got to figure it out. And sometimes you have to look this stuff up, because that information, if it's not preserved somewhere, it's just lost to time. But anyway, that's it. Will you be picking up one of these analog pockets, whether it's waiting for the next drop, which, by the way, has been somewhat announced in an interview that the founder and CEO of Analog gave, where he said that there's going to be a pretty big restock by the end of the year. For those of you who don't have your hands on one yet, you do have some hope. Will you pick it up?